Fan loyalty under sports blackout rules. American football, or as we know it, football, dates back to 1869, where the soccer-rugby fused sport was first played at a regulation level. Since then, it has become the ultimate spectator sport. Morris states that football serves multiple roles as holiday spectacle, promotional vehicle, and symbol of American virtue and vice. When the NFL was up and coming, it relied heavily on ticket sales for revenue. Over 40 years ago, in the 1970s, the NFL and the FCC's solution to this issue was to authorize the blackout rule. The blackout rule, according to Padra, declares if a game wasn't sold out 72 hours prior to kickoff, they would be blacked out of local TV markets. As decades passed and football became the American tradition it is today, the need for blackout rules diminished as games typically sold out. A concerned senator in an area still affected by blackout rules wrote a letter to the FCC urging policymakers to reconsider the rule. 2 years later, the FCC obliged and eliminated their support for the blackout rules. FCC Chairman Tom Wheeler released a statement saying, "We are eliminating the FCC sports blackout rule, which punishes fans and has outlived its usefulness." Wheeler also mentioned that the NFL loudly opposes this effort, claiming that the system is working and the FCC shouldn't disrupt America's most popular sports league. The NFL also responded by saying that eliminating the rule would force them to black out even more games. In fervent conclusion, Wheeler states, "Today, we withdraw from a bad policy that protected this anti-fan conspiracy. These anti-fan regulations need to go, and today they finally will." Unfortunately, the blackouts would not stop at the FCC's denouncing their policy. The NFL still holds private contracts with local broadcast companies that prohibit them from airing the games on television. While the instances of blackouts have decreased over the years, several areas were still widely affected down until the end. During this time, blackouts were most prevalent in Buffalo, Cincinnati, San Diego, and the Tampa Bay area. By 2015, the NFL decides to suspend sports blackout rules according to Florio, but this would be determined on a year-to-year basis from there on out. As the most popular sport in America, and arguably the most powerful organization in American entertainment, according to Wheeler, advertisers are willing to pay top dollar to air commercials during NFL games. According to Business Insider, in 2018, it cost at least $5 million to air a 30-second commercial during one of the most popular NFL games, the Super Bowl. A conservative estimate of the amount of time spent on commercial breaks during an on-average 3-hour game is approximately 15 minutes. 30 opportunities to make $5 million. This proposal for research has 3 hypotheses. The first, that blackout rules in the NFL decrease fan loyalty. The second, blackout rules are counterproductive in its efforts to increase ticket sales revenue. The third, blackout rules do not increase intent to purchase tickets to future games. The primary purpose of this research is to understand how NFL blackouts affect the fans' perceptions of their team. My assertion that the blackout rules are not effective means of increasing revenue can be understood by examining advertising dollars the NFL teams stand to lose if they choose not to air a game. Airing 2 commercials would be more profitable than selling out all of the cheap seats. Disallowing the game to be locally broadcasted would decrease morale, not raise intentions of purchasing tickets in the future. Fans are likely to watch other teams or even another sport. McKinsey & Company, a marketing and sales group, has dedicated an enormous amount of time and effort to better understand consumer decision journeys, which Court, Elzinga, Finneman, and Perry define as the often irregular paths consumers take as they move from brand awareness through to purchase and loyalty. In order to fit my hypotheses, the original terms consumer and brand will be swapped with fan and team respectively. The loop is characterized by its 4 distinct stages. The initial consideration set, when the consumer or fan considers an initial set of brand or teams. The second, the active evaluation stage, when consumers or fans consider or reject brands or teams for consideration. The third, the moment of purchase, the consumer or fan chooses a brand or team. And finally, the loyalty loop. Consumer or fans repurchase or continue to patronize current brand or team without seeking others. Critical in the active evaluation stage is engaging the audience in a way that makes them want to come back for more. Without the ability to watch games locally blacked out, this limits the amount of engagement a fan or potential fan can have with the team. The method implemented in this study would require self-report data. The type of self-report data will be online surveys. This type of research method will be utilized as it increases the amount of reach needed to assess such a large group of participants. These participants will be collected from the 4 cities most recently affected by blackouts: Buffalo, Cincinnati, San Diego, and Tampa Bay. The survey will have several questions to qualify participants, like, are you a blank fan? Have you ever experienced a blackout in your local broadcasting station? These questions will serve as a prerequisite to ensure they are a relevant audience and that they are familiar with blackout rules. Following the prerequisite questions will be several yes or no questions to gauge things like attitude and loyalty toward their team. The final question of the survey will directly ask, do blackouts motivate you to purchase tickets to future games? With a follow-up free response question, why or why not? The qualitative portion of this question will be analyzed for sentiment regarding blackouts and classified as having a positive, negative, or neutral effect on loyalty. This research is directly relevant to the NFL, encouraging a permanent suspension on blackout rules. This research can help organizations understand the effects that restricting public access have on their fan base or consumer base. While the NFL has recently suspended their blackout policy, there are still many professional sports teams that practice the antiquated rule. The research also promotes marketing practices that are less focused on punishing fans, as indicated by FCC Chairman Wheeler, but implementing techniques focused on adding to the current fan base and maintaining relationships with fans that are already loyal to a team. This may prove to be more effective in increasing ticket sales than one that bars them from viewing games. Blackout rules, as stated by Wheeler, are anti-consumer and have not been proven to increase ticket sales revenue.